and your host for today's session. TextSPACE today is a global textile and apparel media platform focused on sustainability, precision, automation, circularity, and energy. ReCIRCLE is a monthly initiative of TextSPACE today, and in the ReCIRCLE, we invite technology providers, innovative solution providers, thought leaders, industry practitioners to share their views on a specific topic. And for today's session, that topic is sustainable fiber, purpose, functionality, and performance. So we are noticing that in the global textile and apparel industry is undergoing a significant material transition because sustainability moves from a voluntary commitment to a commercial and regulatory imperative. So the brands, the consumers, policymakers are pressurizing the manufacturers to reshape how they source fiber, how they manufacture it, and how they evaluate it. So today we will discuss how sustainable fibers can serve this portion. Okay, so let me introduce our panelist, Mr. Pramod Agrawal, co-founder and CEO of Saxel, and Mr. Mesbah from country manager, BT office from China Textile Academy Green Fiber Company Limited, and from Lycra Company, we have Alistair Williamson, Vice President of Product Sustainability, and we have Alberto Cheria, Technical Product Manager from the Lycra Company. Okay, so I would like to go to Mr. Pramod Agrawal that textile-to-textile recycling is gaining significant attention, but we can see that recycled fibers still represent a very small portion. So, in your opinion, what are the causes of it, or we can say that is the industry ecosystem itself is ready for the true circularity?
So good afternoon, everyone in Bangladesh and part of Europe. Good morning. Thank you for introduction, Mr. Saqib, and giving me opportunity to speak here. I would see this as an multifaceted answer to this question. But before that, it's very important to tell what Saxel is trying to bring a difference in that sense. So if you look at the world's largest untapped fiber source is not cotton fields or not the forest from where we get today man-made cellulose fiber or the fossil-based fibers like polyester, but it could be 92 million ton of textile waste which we throw every year, and less than 1% is recycled textile to textile there. And if you look at the world of man-made cellulosic fiber, which is a very strong alternative to existing cotton supply chain because it's cellulosic. And if you are moving away from forest-based sources and looking at the quality of man-made cellulosic fiber, you still have predominantly viscose in that domain of man-made cellulosic fiber, which is still 70% or high, which in my opinion, still a highly chemical intensive process with carbon disulfide and things like that, where you still would need 200 to 600 liters of water. And cotton itself would need at least 2000 liter of irrigated water. So as a fiber, I really see a lyocell has the strongest potential to represent this gap, and is growing. What you see also that global lyocell production capacity is rapidly increasing. Last week, Birla in India also announced a huge investment in the lyocell infrastructure. Several lyocell production plants are coming in China as well. And that's exactly where Saxel brings additional impact, that instead of using forest-based, wood-based resources for it, we use textile-to-textile recycling technology. And we have demonstrated this at pilot scale right now. And as we are talking, Saxel is in a process of setting up its own near industrial scale pulp production plant in Netherlands, which would be starting at the end of this year, which would be a highly modular plant with a minimum 250-ton capacity, which could eventually grow to 1,005-ton capacity, but with a little extra addition can even go up to 3,000-ton capacity. And this plant would work fully on post-consumer cotton textile waste. Uh, to come back to your question, the technology is no longer a biggest barrier because we have proven this at a lab scale, we have proven this as a pilot level, and we are now again going to prove it at a near industrial scale production unit in Netherlands. Now, why Netherlands we chose to make this near industrial scale production scale? Because of well-established ecosystem in east part of Netherlands where this plant is coming in. That means we have collectors and sorters, and we could actually ask them to deliver what we are looking for. 90+% cotton content in their feedstock, maybe even well shredded or well prepared, which could directly go in our pulp plant. We could even ask for whites if required. We could even ask for colored. I mean, in our processes, we can also handle reactive dye and a couple of more. So we could really ask for the desired feedstock with kind of a same quality again and again in a scale. And on top of that, Netherlands is one of the few countries, probably I think apart from France, where the EPR extended producer responsibility still is in force. That means the government would also support when we use post-consumer textile waste. So in Netherlands, if you are an importer and producers of, let's say, textile, other products as well, then they have to pay an extended producer responsibility. This things goes via some sort of an agencies and this foundation, and then they look who can then use this post-consumer textile waste to bring a new life. And we are very few, one of the few ones who could do that in a chemical. I would refrain from using recycling, more upcycling space, where we convert or going to convert the post-consumer textile waste into virgin quality lyocell fiber, which is much better in terms of viscose, if you talk in terms of tensile strength, in terms of absorbency, but cotton also in terms of, it has a 50% more absorbency and so on. So to conclude your question, technology is no longer the barrier. What you also see, there are more companies in Europe, especially, but also in USA, but also in different part of the world, are popping up, which offering solution other in mechanical recycling, thermomechanical recycling, chemical recycling, and they are proving it from pilot to near industrial scale or even a full scale to convert this textile-based feedstock into near virgin or even equal or better quality raw material for complete supply chain that could be really integrated into existing supply chain.
Okay, so technology is not a barrier, but the industry ecosystem
Need to be
actually
developed, especially in the
need to be developed.
countries where we intend to scale up. And
Okay,
Bangladesh could be one of them, for example. So
yeah.
we need to see how this could be replicated there.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Pramod. Okay, I would like to go to Mr. Misbah that technology is advancing fast, but infrastructure building is so slow. So, if we want to build a true circular fiber system in economic, or I would say that in industrial scale, so what are the preparations we need for that?
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Today's I would like to present myself as a country manager of China Textile Academic in Fiber Corporation. Basically, we are China state-owned corporation, and our mother company name is Genatech China Generational Technology Group. So we have different in wings like as power energy, car manufacturing, as well as textiles. That means China Textile Academy and also high textile industry. So basically in Bangladesh, I am operating the lyocell fiber, and our brand name is Green Fiber, which is short version is G Fiber. Yes, come to a point that if you say our manufacturing output, we are annually producing 110,000 lifestyle. Okay. So and recently, for why we are doing Lysol? Lysol is a eco-friendly product, so we know that buyer is now choosing which are eco-friendly and environment-friendly product. So our is none other than same as Sexcel, what my first promote our CEO said, were same as, but if we are doing this Lysol fiber, they have some certifications. Okay, so for eco-friendly and environment-friendly, so FSC certified is basically needed for these purposes, and we are regularly we are accredited for this, and we have all the certification like as FSC, canopy, and everything. So what I am on the question is this is for 21st century. So Lysol is so much needed this type of fiber if we want to live a better life. Okay, so it is mainly man-made cellulosic fiber we are calling. So if you said that its first generation fiber is viscose and after that modal, but these two are not eco-friendly because from viscose we get that it emits some types of carbon sulfide, which is not so good for our environment-friendly planet. So if we say that our Lysol, this is green fiber, it is a closed loop manufacturing process where N-methyl morpholine oxide, like as NMMO, this types of solvent is using regular basis. 99.87% is almost use some less water or something like that, so less energy. So it is very, very productive. And in Bangladesh and in the world, the consumption of this cellulosic fiber is around 40 to 50 billion. Okay, so the world is growing and it's already technology adapted for this, and infrastructure, the infrastructure is not so good at this point, but day to day it will be improved, and hopefully the Lysol fibers, everything infrastructure would be capable as well as Bangladesh and others than world. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Misbah. So I would like to go to Mr. Cheria, that what are the emerging opportunities for sustainable stretch? Because consumers are now demanding sustainable fibers, they are demanding the comfort, stretch. They are all need these features in a single product. So how do you see the opportunities to market the sustainable stretch fibers?
Thank you, Saqib, and good morning and good afternoon, everyone. So we shall start saying that the consumers today no longer sees these attributes like comfort, sustainability, and durability, like three different benefits. They want all in one garment and together. And we see this is an increasing need. And we, as the ReCIRCLE company, are there to provide solution for this need. The company is a global solution provider in the fiber sectors for both apparel and personal care business. And our fiber that was invented in 1958 is still like the gold standard for stretch technology and adding comfort for garments. And since then, it's been utilized more and more and more. Now, in the last years, where sustainability grew as a topic and the need for end-of-life solution also became more evident, we have worked to identify solutions and how these could bring additional benefits for the recycling system and for the consumers. Our product vision is simple, but yet very powerful. and it touches the 3 stages of the product: how we make the product, what the product is supposed to deliver in its life in a garment, and then how can we treat it at the end of its life. And there are several aspects and metrics where innovation can bring very interesting solution, so that all these aspects are covered without compromising in performances. And in fact, we believe that we should serve both performances and the planet together without privileging one or the other, but combining with synergy. How we make the fiber, it's the first step of the product vision, and we actively work to replace finite resources and fossil-based resources with renewable inputs material. And I think one of the best examples of this is the renewable product that we have launched commercially in the market this year, and it's now available at large commercial scale, that contains up to 70% of renewable content coming from corn. So we're talking about a synthetic fibers that brings stretch, that comes into garments at a relatively low percentage, and yet we found a way to add the sustainability attribute with renewable content to this level without changing any, let's say, technical parameters to that. And then there is durability. So durability sometimes is overlooked in its importance in sustainability, but it's one of the main attributes, because the longer is the life of a garment, and then the less chance you have to transform this into waste, and then you have the need to extract value from this waste. And there are technologies when you make garments and when you make fabrics and when you design them to prolong the life of the product. When it comes to stretch, there are solutions that applies to the different end use and the actual application. I make the example of swimwear, where resistance to chlorine is very important. So we have a platform that is called Lycra Extra Life that has a chlorine resistance product with very high performance in chlorine environment, like in pools, and that is exactly addressed for swimwear. We have in the Extra Life portfolio solution for legwear and hosiery to avoid the formation of lathering and leather when hosiery is broken. As well, in the intimate apparel, we have dedicated solution for each, let's say, garment category, where durability can be upgraded simply using the correct stretch technology, the correct lycra fiber, and the best practice in the transformation of this product. And then it comes the end of life. So what happens to the end of life of a garment? For us, it's been a very complex item. As I mentioned before, lycra and spandex in general comes into fabrics with relatively small percentage. It can range from few percentage, 1 to 3% in sun denim and woven, up to 30 or 40% in work needs product or in hosiery garments. But as an average, we can think something like 5 to 10, 15%. This would be an average of the product. And in this situation, there are no recyclers that really target spandex as the first product to extract the value from. Recyclers usually look into the hard fiber, either polyester, cotton, polycotton, nylon, but rarely they target a process just to extract the 10% of a product. So we are working actively with a broad range of recyclers worldwide to identify those recycling technology where together with the valorization of the polyester, for example, or the cellulosic product, also the stretch component is not destroyed and the value can be extracted. And this has been quite interesting as a work, because there are those technology who really are able to deliver a secondary raw material in terms of stretch product that still function for us in order to feed an internal recycling process that we have meanwhile optimized. So it is possible to extract and recycle elastane and spandex. But following Pramod's discussion before, the technology is there, or it's almost there, but what is still missing is the infrastructure that brings to the company the material in the way and in the format they are needed. We would be comfortable to say that we can produce lycra fiber with textile-to-textile recycled content up to 30-40%, but we are not in the position to procure this material in order to feed our innovative recycling technology. So we have to facilitate this value chain to grow and to prosper so that we can actually have this material. We, as a company, as a textile company and fiber company, we are not going to be the waste management company that collects the garment and makes the separation. We have to rely on the logistic that is upstream to this. And still we have to collaborate with them, with legislation, and also with brands in order to make this possible. And it is possible. And those who say that spandex can't be recycled are either those who don't know how to recycle it, or they don't invest in technologies to make it. And we have done so in the last years. We would be ready, and we are facilitating this process. And actually,
Okay,
there are a number of pilot
I can
projects
say
ongoing.
that for recycling or circularity, the supply chain is important, right?
Yeah, I think this is valid for
Yeah.
all fibers type, but
Because-
for ours, which is a minority component, it's very important.
Yeah, because you have to source the raw material or the recycling or the scraps. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chirai. So I would like to go to Mr. Alistair Williamson, Vice President of Product Sustainability, the Lycra company, that sustainability is increasingly expected, but the brands still now focuses on durability, performance, and consumer experience. Do you think if we move to sustainability, we have to sacrifice these product performances?
Okay, thank you for the question. Namaskar. Good afternoon and good morning to those of you in Europe. It's a very interesting question. When I look at the evolution that has happened in the whole of subject to sustainability over the last 10, 15, 20 years, you can see that things that were not possible technically many years ago are now possible. So if I look back, first time I bought some recycled paper, for example, I remember it was quite rough and it wasn't white and didn't feel great, but I bought it because I wanted to do something for the environment. Technology has improved, and today you can get recycled paper that is as good as normal paper. And I think the same thing's happened with textiles. Technology is advancing, technology is improving, and things that can be done today that couldn't be done 10 or 15 years ago. I think what hasn't changed is probably consumer expectations. So this was part of your question, whether consumers or brands expect that sustainability comes with let's say a lesser quality or
yeah, sustainability comes at a price, and that price is we are paying with the performance.
So I think consumers, even 20 years ago, they would have expected their products to perform as well, whether they had a sustainability benefit or aspect than the standard product. And I think that's still true today. So if you buy a garment that has all the sustainability aspects to it, but it doesn't perform, it doesn't feel comfortable, it doesn't look good, consumers may buy it once, but they won't buy it again. So I think there's this a growing demand for products that have sustainability attributes. Young people particularly, they're much better informed than probably I was when I was their age. Buying garments, they look things up, they want to see where they come from. So they want to make sure that they're buying products with the sustainability attributes. But at all times, they would expect the product to perform in the same way. In the previous discussion, my colleague Alberto was talking about a product that we've developed in the Lycra company, trying to solve the issue of the raw materials that we use. You probably know that spandex has two main raw materials. One is glycol and one is called MDI. And both of those come from fossil fuels. And what we've done at the Lycra company is we've developed a product to replace the glycol, which is about 70% of the makeup, replacing it from a fossil fuel source to a corn-based source. So this is a renewable source. So that clearly has a sustainability attribute. You can reduce the carbon emissions by up to 40–45%. So for our customers, this is very important. What we've managed to do is we've managed to produce it in the same way that we would produce a standard Lycra. So all the facets of Lycra in terms of stress strain properties, stretch and recovery, they all remain the same. So for our customers in Bangladesh, for example, who'd be wanting to use this fiber in their fabrics, it's what we like to call it a drop-in. They could simply replace the Lycra fiber that they're using today with this renewable product, and it would perform in exactly the same way. So that's, I think, is a demonstration of how technology has evolved to be able to offer consumers and our customers products that have this sustainability attribute, but which perform in exactly the same way.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Alistair. I would like to go to Mr. Pramod Agarwal again, co-founder and CEO of TexSPACE, that when we are talking about recycled and regenerated fibers, we often assess them with the environmental metrics, as in the previous conversation, Alistair has also done it. So, what do you think that we should, how is the importance of it to shift that environmental impact assessment to the product performance or the product comfortability issues?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Sakib. Your question is very clear and very valid. Sustainability can open the door, let me put it in this way. It can help to open the door, but eventually the performance would decide whether the fiber stays in a market or not. You could say the future fiber that would win would have to deliver all. It also has to deliver not only sustainability or environmental benefits. That's, in my view, going to be more and more a baseline. Performance, as Alistair talked about, a recycled paper where it evolves to almost virgin or even sometimes equal or better in some cases.
Yeah.
But also the scalability, that would be the third and important aspect of it. So yes, environmental thing would be an entry point, could be a differentiator right now, but eventually it will be a baseline. Performance has to be, and I think a lot of innovative fibers or new fibers like TexSPACE are performing equally on both aspects. Just to give you very clear numbers in terms of environmental footprint, right now our new plant, as I again saying, which is coming up in Enschede, Netherlands, would use a state-of-art pulp making technology, which would require only 10 to 12 liters of water per kg compared to 200 plus for viscose and 2000 plus for cotton. So 98% less water, zero microplastic discharge, no carbon disulfide sort of processes, and it also offers a multi-cycle recyclability, basically. And then there is no land use. So as I said, the future of the farm is not in the fields, but in the factories, possibly. But also when you talk in terms of performance level, it offers exactly same as wood-based lyocell fiber, because once you make a pulp that fits to the lyocell wet spinning process, the end product would be exactly same. And then lyocell offers better tensile strength and a better maybe luster and maybe more whiteness. But TexSPACE also offers 50% more absorbency and 40% less dye required to get the same shade color. So it offers the performance level and it offers the sustainability, clear sustainability benefit. But now what we are really looking for is a scalability, basically. As I said, the sustainability and performance are must-haves, And scalability is the next one. But for scalability, again, we need an ecosystem and early adopters, or the push through the legislations. But the legislations are on horizon. It keeps postponing every time little bit as you keep waiting for it. But yeah, to answer it, in my view, it would be sustainability, performance, and scalability, and that scalability would come through demand or a proper ecosystem.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Pramod Agrawal. Okay, so I'd like to go to Mr. Misbah again. So, as Mr. Pramod has said, the regulations and sustainability requirements are evolving. So, how do you see the importance of data system or technology to make supporting credible fiber ecosystem?
Again, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. So, day by day, technology increasing, and all the updated technology is already applied other sectors as well. So, if our company, if you say that it is lyocell based, our brand name is G Fiber, which is called Green Fiber. So, if you see that for sustainability issue, and we have already MOU with Circulose, which is Sweden-based company who are work with pre and post consumer wastage. Okay, so basically we are also looking this way, recycling from collecting their palm and made this fiber. So, and also thanks to Mr. Pramod Agrawal said that for in this so the lyocell fiber, we have no need of any landfill. So in that way, it is helpful for our environment. And for traceability, it is now it's mandatory. Day by day is it is applied. So we are also going this way. Hopefully, in the more 1 or 2 years, will also be adapted with all the traceability sector. So basically, if you say that already said that we have a FSC canopy already listed corporation. So so in that way, traceability and all the advancement of necessary, we already connected with all this. For and if you see that we are not only standard with only one product or something like that, a lyocell, we have different types of lyocell product, and in that way we would do this way. You can see that our lyocell derivatives like as antibacterial, flammable retardant lyocell, bamboo based lyocell. So we have all that traceability in our fiber, and we also give the specific specification to the documents like as G Fiber types of document where you can find all the necessary where it come from, how it going, and what will the impact of the environment, what types. And if you see our vision and mission in 2030, we will be purely carbon neutral company in the world.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Misbah. I would like to go to Mr. Alistair again, that Mr. Misbah is talking about traceability. So traceability is very important when we are trying to sell premium or natural fibers. So what do you think that traceability is being evolved into a value proposition, or is it something nowadays just like a compliance issue?
Okay, thank you for the second question. I would agree with Mesbah that yes, traceability is absolutely essential, I would say. So if I think of when I talk to my customers in Bangladesh, the mills or the garment makers, it's an incredibly competitive marketplace. It's more and more difficult to stand out, to do something that's different. Innovations catch up and they don't stay innovative for long, so you need to keep innovating, you need to coming up with new ideas. So how can you really differentiate yourself? And so if you've made the decision to use a specialty fiber, something that an ingredient that goes into your fabric. You have a fabric that is different from the competitors. You have a garment that does something different. You need to be able to make a claim to show that to the potential end user, the consumer. And one way of doing that is through either certification. So having a certificate to say, I'm saying that my fabric or my garment is different, and here's the certificate that proves it, or some way to trace back where the raw material comes from. I think I said earlier that consumers are better informed now than they were in the past. They do like to look up to see where things have come from. Some of the speakers today have been talking about the new legislation in Europe. There's one in particular called the EMPCO, which is the Empowering Consumers legislation. The idea there is that anybody buying anything, whether it's textiles or domestic appliances, should have more information about how the product's been made and where it's come from, so that they can make an informed choice. And the EMPCO is there to prevent fake claims being made, what we call greenwashing, or telling stories that aren't fully true. So in order to differentiate in this very complicated and competitive market, having certification is very important. I'll make a plug again for the Lycra company because you've given me the platform. But with the renewable Lycra that I mentioned earlier, we have certificates to trace the fiber or the raw materials right back to the cornfields where the corn was grown. So we can provide our customers with the certification to say, this has come from this cornfield. We can provide a certificate with carbon date. Will say if the carbon dating comes out as being very, very old, then the raw material will be from a fossil fuel. If it comes out from last year, then it's probably come from a cornfield. And so you can show that it's a renewable source. But also it's very important as well that people are using trusted certification or trusted validation. And I think one of the advantages that we have as the Lycra company is, as Alberto said, we've been making fiber since 1958. We have a lot of credibility. Over many years, we've built up good relationships with our customers. So also being able to say that your garment contains Lycra fiber, branded fiber, helps to give the credibility and helps our customers to differentiate themselves from the rest of the field.
Okay,
so yes,
thank you, Mr.
I think it's very important.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Alistair. I would like to go to Mr. Cheria again, that sustainability is now becoming more mainstream. So what do you think, if sustainability is becoming more mainstream, will it be a competitive advantage to integrate sustainability into products, or do you think that the performance or the functionality perspective will be the main competitive advantage?
Well, I think we mentioned before, everything has to come together. And like Pramod said as well, sustainability longer is going to be the baseline. So not even a choice, it has to be there. And the issue is when you bring sustainability, whatever it means, recycled content, end-of-life solution, renewable content, or lower carbon footprint, it needs to be as well affordable in terms of how much this technology costs. And until we reach a certain scale, it's going to be hard to break even the virgin quality and the virgin cost. We have an industry that for more than a century is based on fossil, and it's difficult to be competitive with an alternative technology that was discovered 10 years ago, because the system is not there and is not optimized for there. Having sustainability or circularity as a trend and mainstream, I think it helps who invest on quality and invest on innovation. For the Lycra company, this would be an advantage because we truly believe this is the way to go, not just for us and not just to survive in this textile jungle, but also to do something that is good, transparently good. So I see this an advantage for those who want to innovate and for those who invest in quality, in a broader definition of quality.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Cheria. I would like to go to Mr. Pramod Agarwal again, that from 5 years from now, if we look, the fiber decision will be made based on sustainability or performance or regulations, what do you think the industry is shifting towards? What we are mainly prioritizing when we are selecting fibers? What is that thing? Or as have Mr. Cheria have said that we need to blend all of it into one.
Yeah, thank you, Sakib. Again, I think I have partially answered that in my previous question. It would be a mix of all performance, sustainability, scalability. But what I also want to add, maybe new dimension to it, um, sustainability become more and more stricter. You have to see like that. We are in Europe right now. Let me put it in this way. And Europe, because of the free trade agreements in the past, has been a dumping ground for a lot of cheap textile coming from Asia. Let me put it in this way, and rest of the world. And there is so much of waste textile now is dumped. Fast fashion is so getting worse that uh, people use it for 5 washes and then they throw it. Um, in some estimates says that Europe has enough waste can support the 7 generations of the total population, and so on and so on. So the number are really, really staggering. Uh, but what you see, what Europe is trying to do a little bit here is using sustainability as a tool to create a little bit invisible fence around its border to ensure that the product that comes inside European boundaries are of a good quality because not for a short use. So avoid a lot of greenwashing sort of thing. And the same time, the sustainability where the recycled content is encouraged. It has two perspectives. One is to stimulate as much as local production in Europe and reduce the dependency on large exporting countries. But even whatever is coming from those countries, let's say from Bangladesh and others, has to be have first of all good quality and should also meet the European sustainability and legislation. I'm not talking global level. I'm talking more now at a European level. And there are many things like Elsia talk about M code, but I recognize that more as a digital product passport has a more or less similar yeah requirements to this sort of things, and this gives a lot of new added uh, requirement like is LCA there today. It is not mandatory, but it will be soon mandatory. Does your product has a physical tracer uh, or a digital blockchain based technology or a RCS certificate or and so on and so on. And sometimes it creates, it opens a gate for you, but sometimes it could also create a new challenge for you. I mean, to put in perspective, physical tracer adding into recycled material where you need to again recycle it, and if the tracer is disrupting or interfering in your recycling process, could be an issue. So it's a bit of a challenge also for companies like us who are involved in the multiple time recycling process. But at the same time, we also need to ensure it. I'm sure the things are right now a kind of a melting pot, but the fact
Yeah,
is very clear that sustainability is becoming must. The world is moving towards more and more conscious buying and a quality product. I think that's how the governments really want to push it and prevent it as a dumping. And maybe I use this as an opportunity for a lot of companies in Bangladesh or Asian country be aware about the sustainability wave which is coming. This is very
yeah.
big and very essential.
We should
And if
prepare
you do
for it.
not make
Yeah,
out of it, then probably you're out of business.
out
So,
of the competition, right?
yeah, exactly. So this is very crucial. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so we are at almost end of this webinar. So thank you to all the panelists. It was a very insightful webinar. If you want to add something, we can give you a floor, or otherwise we can end this seminar.
Well, if I may just say, following up from what Brahmad was saying, I think there are probably three reasons why we need sustainability products in our ranges. One is because compliance says that we have to do it.
Yeah.
Secondly is because consumers want it. It's what consumers are looking for. And thirdly, because it makes sense to do so. Sometimes because we know it's right for the planet, but sometimes just things like preserving water, preserving energy, it makes economic sense for a business. So to me, those are the three main drivers. And I think it's going to be a combination of the three that will drive the future.
Yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
I would
Okay.
like to add one thing, if
Yeah,
I
sure.
could. And
Yeah, sure.
I think the more I see a lot of value for, at least in our offering, what Saxel is doing, especially for Bangladesh, where Bangladesh is 47 to 50 billion US dollar exports. It's 80% of the total export earning comes from textile.
Yeah.
4 million direct jobs come from it, and second largest apparel producer. And almost 100% cotton is imported, so there is no resource available. So countries like Bangladesh certainly should take a leadership position in developing such ecosystem, even doesn't matter at a trial level, for where the complete circular solution could be provided with a sustainability guideline, so they keep preparing themselves for the future of correct export. And that shift, that paradigm shift, has to happen basically. And in my vision, I see at least 400 to 500,000 tons of cotton-rich textile is readily available.
Yeah,
The
in
garment cutting
Bangladesh.
is 10 to
Yeah, as a
15%.
cutting waste.
So it's a
Yeah.
perfect,
Pre-consumer waste.
background for this sort of technologies. But I think the government will respond to this sort of requirement if the media house like you raise this in a very strong way. So, and it's a win-win for all in that
Yeah.
sense.
Okay. So thank you, Mr. Pramod. Okay, so we are ending today's webinar. Thank you to all the panelists for joining and for your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Have a
you.
nice day.
And
Have a
thank
nice
you
day.
to all of the
Thank you.
expert for sustainable technologist. So hopefully we'll see you again next one day. And all of you, welcome to our Bangladesh. And next time we will meet with you. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a nice day. Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Happy nice day.